Hey everyone, this is Brian from Vance Hines, and thank you for joining me on this Fuelpak Friday Live. We're doing things a little bit differently, doing it a bit later than normal, seeing if maybe people who want to tune in, who normally can't tune in at 9 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time, maybe pop in today. So trying something new, we'll see how it goes. And I do have a list of questions you guys asked earlier on Instagram stories, so I appreciate your guys' feedback and your participation. So with that, we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. Hello, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good afternoon. And so the first one, uh, person asks, when do the new 2-to-1 high output pipes ship? So right now, I know they are currently being worked on in the manufacturing floor, and I believe my understanding is that they're going to ship at some point next month. Now, I don't know what time next month, and I don't know if it's the stainless or the black variant. I do know that that is the current goal, though, is to ship them at some point next month. So contact your local distributors, contact your local motorcycle shops, get those on order. It will likely be on back order for the time being, but eventually that back order will clear and you'll get your exhaust. I know we've sent quite a few out. Some of the lucky guys have been able to get those out to them and installed on their bikes already, so good news there. It's just going to take a little bit longer to get more out the manufacturing facility and out to you guys. So there you go. Next question we've got, again, if you guys want to drop anything into the comment section, any questions you guys might have, go ahead and throw them out there. Outside of the Power Duels giveaway, Krios Rustler's Roost, definitely a nice shot, though. Maybe there is an avenue for us to try doing something like that in the future. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear, see what we can do down the road. But if you have any FP3, Fuelpak questions, Vance Hines questions, whatever you want, it's our one live show every week. Go ahead, throw them out there, and we'll get everything rolling. I'm going to change the camera over here on Instagram because I am framed really badly. All right, so next one would be 2021 Fuelpak update. The update is that it's still not available. We're still working very hard on it. It's going to take a bit more time. This level of ECU is definitely more advanced than the previous ECUs in which we've gotten broken into and we're able to change maps out. So bear with us while we work through it, and I'll let you guys know as soon as it is available. Pearl_Glide says stainless steel pro pipe update. We do have two offerings for stainless steel exhaust, particularly for the Milwaukee 8s. One right now is the new 2-to-1 high output. The other one is the 2-to-1 stainless upsweep, or the stainless 2-to-1 upsweep, rather. Both are really, really nice, kind of shorter style, not as long as a pro pipe, but they make decent power. I know that there has been some interest in a full stainless pro pipe, much like our old stainless 2-to-1 high output for the twin cam model. So I do know that our product development manager is aware of that. I'm not sure where they're going as far as if it's going to be available, when it's going to be available. I do know that they're aware of it, and we'll see what happens from there. Papa Visual OC said, thanks for the suggestion on the slip-ons for the 2021 M8. No need for tuning. They sound great. Rad, that is awesome. Thank you for the support. And thanks for tuning in there, buddy. Hello from Thailand. Hello, hello. Let's see, Jeremy Dottie. Sorry, I keep throwing my hand in front of the camera and messing it up. Says, I've got a 2020 Sportster Iron 1200. I've got stagger short shots and an Arlen S monster intake. I have the fuel pack as well. It's been popping the code for the front O2 sensor, also the rear. Jeremy, I've been helping out our customer support team with some of the fuel pack emails this morning. I believe I might have already sent you back an email from the support team. So check your email inbox. I believe I've got something that should go ahead and get you taken care of there, buddy. Long and short, I think my understanding is that, if I'm remembering correctly, you have no baffles in your exhaust right now, and the bike has sort of like a popping rough idle. So I mentioned a couple things we can try to sort that out, and we'll go from there. Just keep emailing us back and forth, and we'll get you hooked up there, bud. Krilos_Rustlers_ said, what slip-on would be the best, provide a loud and deep rumble 4.5 inch M8 Electric Glide? Those would be the Torker 450s without a doubt, hands down. We do offer an oversized 450 for the Milwaukee 8s, but the Torker 450s is going to have a lot deeper, more aggressive rumble to it, which is what most people are tending to go for. The OS 450s were really, really nice on twin cams. On the Milwaukee 8, because that motor is a little bit quieter by nature, I find them to be a little bit too mellow for my liking. I typically look at either the high outputs or the Torker 450s for the Milwaukee 8s. The Torker 450s being the louder, more aggressive option, the high outputs being a little bit more refined in that they have a deeper, richer tone, mellower at idle, mellower at cruising, but still have a lot of grunts when you get on the throttle. So those are the ones I tend to look at. Ghost 1970 says, tell Harley to work with you on installing the 21 fuel pack instead of voiding warranties. HD Tuner doesn't even work on their 21 motorcycle. Yeah, that's true. If you are in California, there are no CARB approved maps for even a 2021 Harley from the factory. So at this moment, if you buy a Harley in California and you want to put on Screaming Eagle products, you can't because there's no maps for it. All right, I'm going to pop back over here and just get one from the stories from earlier. So what's the difference between power duals and dresser duals? So there's a couple things. The dresser duals are more inexpensive. They are cheaper than the power duals. The dresser duals are a true duals or like a standard 2 and a 2 cell system. So they both have exits out the front rear header, and then they have like a little parallel slash down the side of the bike, cross under the other side. So they never meet. There's no crossover chamber. Whereas our power duals have the crossover chamber. It's the look everyone's familiar with, like the X pipe kind of thing, is what most people call it. Aids in reversion, aids in scavenging. It actually makes more power, the power duals, compared to the dresser duals. And because of the added manufacturing cost with the extra pressing and the extra welding, it does cost more than the dresser duals. So the dresser duals are, if you want some sound, if you kind of like that old lope, and you're willing to sacrifice some performance, the benefit of saving some money, I usually recommend the dresser duals, but for 90% of applications, I usually will recommend power duals over the dresser duals. William Lunsford 777 says, the live stream for the GoPro giveaway. I don't think so. No, we don't have GoPro here, not a new one at least. I know we've got a couple older GoPros, and I've been trying to get some new Hero 9 blacks, but we'll play with that. Unbelievable 429, so just pick up your fuel pack. Thank you for your support. If you need any help, go ahead and hit us up at help@vancehines.com. We can go ahead and get that sorted for you. D100Y Joy, can my FP3 be used to tune my SNS cycle 124-inch upgrade? Yes, but I would typically recommend that in conjunction with the Fuelpak Pro. So the Fuelpak Pro has a couple advantages over the FP3, but an FP3 will be needed in order to tune with the Fuelpak Pro. So the FP3 is going to unlock your ECM, have the communications to and from our server through the internet on your phone, and it's going to have Bluetooth communication to your device, as well as the ability to unlock and flash the ECM, like I mentioned. The Fuelpak Pro is there to basically collect data with wideband sensors and build new volumetric efficiency tables for that new sensors with new algorithms that do that for you, and then push that data through your FP3 and into the bike. So you need both for that to work. I do have a dyno tuned map for a 124-inch motor that I performed here in one of our dynos, and we've been giving that out as a base map. So if you want to, contact our support team at help@vancehines.com. We can go ahead and get you that 124-inch base support map, and then you can go ahead and either get it tuned to the dyno tuner with Fuelpak Pro. You can put a Fuelpak Pro on your bike and finish it up the rest of the way yourself, or you can do it with narrowbands. Just know that it's going to be a little rougher. It's going to run leaner. It's going to get hotter, and I don't recommend doing it for very long. So ideally, in a perfect world, you'd have a wideband Fuelpak Pro. You'd be good to go. Robert from YouTube says, greeting from Ontario. Have a question. Do you offer touch-up paint for your pipes? Thanks. We do not offer touch-up paint for our pipes, and that's particularly the reason that touch-up paint, when used on our exhaust, doesn't look very good. It is a black ceramic coating that is baked before it gets installed on your bike, and then the secondary curing or the baking finishes while it's running on your exhaust. Through that process and over time, that ceramic coating will change colors a little bit. So anything you put on it that's newer is going to be much, much darker than the surrounding area, and it's going to look a little bit out there. For the most part, I've tried a couple different things to repair scratches or dings in heat shields, and nothing is going to be better than getting a replacement heat shield. Although for the time being, if it's small, it's on the other side, and no one's ever really going to see it. Believe it or not, a black Sharpie is the best solution I found outside of just getting them re-ceramic coated or swapping them out for new heat shields. Facebook, Gene Schoeneman said, what's the latest on the high output stainless tuna ones? Have mine on order through my HD dealer. Love V&H pipes. I touched on that a little bit earlier. We're shipping more out. The plan is next month. So stay tuned. If it's on order, you should hopefully be getting one here in the coming months. Also, another question I had from the Instagram stories, somebody was asking for a sound sample for that particular exhaust pipe. So sound samples can be found by going to the website. So go to, your Milwaukee 8, look for the stainless tuna one high output. I believe there's an audio file there on the website itself. You can also go to our YouTube page and the highlight page for that pipe and listen to the pipe as well as watch a video on it. Really, really cool pipe. I like it a lot. It sounds really good. Nice linear power. I was really, really happy when I rode that thing the first time from here to Huntington Beach. It was a good day. It's nice. I liked it. Rick Wheeler said, just finished up my power tool installed to complement the Torque 450s. Sounds so much better and a lot cooler. Thank you for great products, Rick. Thank you, buddy. Really glad you're happy with the Torque 450s. Really happy you're happy with the power tools. Yeah, getting rid of that heat buildup on your angle definitely does make a heck of a lot of difference. And Brian says, best pipes on the market. Again, guys, thank you so much for your support. We really, really do appreciate it here. Belief_cycle says, any suggestions for the Sport Glide? For me personally, I'd go Pro Pipe. So the Pro Pipe kind of gives you that same 2-in-1 in stock. It's going to perform a lot better. You've got a couple different baffle options. So depending on how you like the sound of the standard baffles, you could either go louder or quieter. Quieter will gain you more foot-pounds of torque. Louder gets you more horsepower at the top end. Standard is kind of like the perfect balance between the two. So there's a few ways you can go with the Pro Pipe, and that's why I like it, is because it's sort of like the Swiss Army knife that we have for performance, right? You can go louder, you can go quieter, you can go more torque, more horsepower. You can sort of play with it, and I think that's what makes it so versatile. Also, the way that the bags are designed on the Sport Glide, you've got that recess on the right side, and putting a short exhaust on it, to me, just feels funky. Short shots, big radius. Pardon me, big shot staggered. It doesn't quite fit the overall aesthetics of that bike to me. So for me, I would recommend the Pro Pipe on the Sport Glide. Tim Hodge on Facebook says, 2012 Fat Boy 103, allegedly with 110 cams, big shot staggered exhaust V&H hybrid map. Notice no difference in performance. If I remove the baffles, do I need a new map or should I just call? I would say if you remove the baffles, you are likely going to need a new map. Go ahead, call us. We'll go ahead and get a map set up for you. Knowing the cams would be beneficial, but I understand that pulling the cam cover and the exhaust in order to get to the cam cover is a bear. But it would be nice to know what kind of cams are. If it was from a previous owner, maybe they've got records. If you knew what shop it was performed at, maybe the shop has old service history on that VIN number. I do know that most shops are required, at least here in California, to keep those records for, I believe, 7 years. So you have to hang on to that in either hard or you basically need a hard copy, or you can have it backed up to a server, but you have to hang on to that data for a number of years. So if it was done recently, if it was done by a previous owner, you know where the work was done, you should be able to hopefully figure out what cams those are. That is going to make a big, big, big difference in order to get you a proper map. Joy said, what's the difference between a big radius and a 2-in-1 upsweep? 2-in-1 upsweep is going to be a 2-in-1. It's going to have a bit more bottom end torque. The big radius is a classic like 2-to-2, but it has a turn down function to it. There's no collector. Big radius is going to be a bit louder. It's going to be more of that aggressive, typical kind of Harley sound you think of when you think of a Harley sound. The 2-in-1 upsweep is going to have a bit more down low, make less up top than the big radius unit 2, but it's going to be a little bit warmer, a little richer, a little more of that sort of like aggressive hooligan kind of feel that's in right now. JB on YouTube says, I've got an Iron 883. If I ever upgrade to a Hammer 1250 kit, can I still use my FP3? The answer is yes. Aaron at Hammer Performance has supplied us with some maps to be used for our customers. So he's given us the timing, he's given us the VEs, he's given us the displacement. We basically have access to his maps so that we can offer you guys maps for the 1250 and the 1275 kits from Hammer Performance. We've also supplied Aaron with a Fuelpak Pro and given him access to the Fuelpak Pro dealer server. So he has the ability to not only give us the data so that we can send you maps, but you can contact him and he can send you maps through his dealer server as well, which is a very, very cool thing to do. All right. Do I have a V10 engine for your Hellcat? I do not, Pretty Boy Jane. I do apologize. No V10s. My Road King Special 21 has the V8 power tools HT didn't want to put on because of avoiding the warranty. Since they don't have the correct tool, I was able to add to your system. Yeah, unfortunately, you're in Texas. Yeah, being in Texas helps, buddy. California is a little tight with that kind of stuff. Yeah, hopefully, I believe in Texas, you should be able to get a map from the brain fart digital technician or the Street Tune Pro. Again, we're still working on the FP3 for 2021s. We'll have a better option for you hopefully here in a little bit. Jordan and Allen says mini grenades over short shots. That would be my vote. Yeah, I typically like the mini grenades more than the short shots. The short shots are great. They're lower price point than the mini grenades, but the short shots are sort of what everybody has on a particular bike, i.e. the Sportsters. So I like the mini grenades just because it's a little bit different. It has a similar look, a similar characteristics. To me, it's a more refined version. You get the stepped mufflers, you get the CNC billet machined end cap. And I like the tone a little bit better too. I think you get a little bit richer, slightly deeper tone compared to the short shot staggered. Sort of rounds off and polishes some of that like harsh, aggressive short shot staggered tone. So to me, that would be where I would go. I would go mini grenades over short shots. Another person from Instagram stories earlier asked, ooh, can't read, anything for the Indian Scout Bobber 2018. So we do offer a couple slip-on options for the Scout Bobber. We offer a 3-inch twin slash slip-on and a 4-inch twin slash slip-on. I like the 3-inch. I think you get a little bit better tone with them. I like the look a lot better. They don't feel as heavy to me because they're not visually as weighty. So I think that's a really, really nice way to go. Vince says, if you're going only stage one, are the power tools really worth it? I absolutely think so. Yeah, the power tools do a couple things. Primarily, even if you're not too worried about the number standpoint, removing the heat off your leg is huge, particularly for passengers. So I think that alone is worth it. Story time, right? So we did some thermocouple testing. I did some thermocouple testing when I was still the testing manager for engineering and R&D here a number of years ago. And in the middle of summer, I drove out to Joshua Tree. It was 114 degrees out there, and I had thermocouples strapped to my ankle and to the inside of my right calf, just above the pipe. And I rode that route twice in 2 days, 113-degree day and 114-degree day. Middle summer out in the desert of California. And I ended up taking readings between the thermocouples for the power duals and for the OEM header. Now, this was actually a catalytic converter power duals. This is on a 2016 bike. It was our CTR header. So I basically took those two measurements, two cat headers, all being the same, right tune, air cleaner, etc. And the temperature drop from going to the power duals was in like the 200-degree range. Like, it was shocking. My boot didn't feel nearly as hot. I was much more comfortable all day long, despite the fact it was much, I mean, they're both brutally hot. It was 113, 114 degrees. But for that alone, I would go power duals. You'll pick up some bump and torque and horsepower, of course. But if you're just doing a stage one, I think there's a lot of other benefits that aren't really talked about all that much outside of performance numbers. Aesthetics being one, and the second just being comfort. It's just a lot nicer to have that. James Murray 52, looking at the Fuelpak, is customer service able to walk me through the process? Yes, actually, you can also go into the app. And I would recommend doing that before calling customer support, just because it's going to take a while for them to get to you. I know we're backed up a little bit on emails. I'm sort of helping crush those today, so we should get to everybody. But what I've done and what I can do to sort of help with that is, if you go into the FP3 app, just go ahead and download it, go straight to the bottom option, customer support. From there, select Vance Hines V&H support. And then I think the second option down should be FAQ and then videos. Click on videos. All of the videos that I've made for various Fuelpak Fridays for the past like 2 years are in there. So everything from like, how do I find the first map? How do I connect to Bluetooth? How do I pair to a bike? How do I flash it? How do I download it? How do I modify it? How do I use the cell pop tool? How do I bump the rev limit, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So all of that stuff is there. And I pretty much walk you through the entire process step by step. So that would be my recommendation for reference. If you don't want to do it on your app because you're using the app, grab your laptop, grab your tablet, go to YouTube, go to the Vance and Hines channel, go to the FP3 playlist. It is the exact same thing. So what ends up happening is our app pulls from our YouTube API and allows us to see the entire FP3 playlist in its entirety in order. So I actually have clicked and dragged those videos in order to make it easier to sort of walk through the whole process and like understand everything. So that would be my recommendation. YouTube Vance and Hines channel, FP3 playlist, or do it in the app. Customer support, V&H support videos that will walk you through the whole thing. Pretty boy, still sit on this V10, man. The only V10 I've driven was years ago, and it was a R8 convertible, and it was a good time. It's been a while though. Brittany Miller says, "Can I join and ask questions about your line of work?" Yeah, absolutely. Ask away. Open book. Can you join live? Nah, we're not going to do that. Anthony 125 says, "I got a 2020 Lowrider S, but wanted to get the short shots in a bronze Dominion color matching the rims. Special order." We don't do special orders. My recommendation, if you want to get short shot staggered, is to buy the short shot staggered, install the headers alone, take the heat shields, remove the badging, and take that to a powder coater to see what kind of ceramic coating they have in that bronze color that would match your Lowrider S's wheels. But we do not do special orders for color, not that kind of thing. Pearl Guy says the full pro pipe better for the touring M8 over the high output pipe, best performance. It depends what you're doing. So like we don't have a pro pipe on our race bike. That's another thing I'm completely forgetting about. Guys, this weekend is huge for us. I mean, it is a super, super cool weekend. We've got a lot of racing going on this weekend. We've got NHRA, we've got AFT, we've got King of the Baggers racing like all weekend long, right? So you can turn into the AFT Atlanta Super TT at Atlanta Motor Speedway for May 1st. May 1st through 2nd, Andrew Hines and Eddie Krobeck are back on the Vance Hines team running the new VH160 VT V-Twin in a Buell bodywork. And then, of course, Angel and Mission will be running at the NHRA as well. And then we also have the King of the Bagger Series debuting at Michelin Raceway, the Mission King of the Bagger Series, and we are racing there as well. So big weekend for racing for V&H. That being said, that bike, what kind of spurred me onto this thought process, we run the high output 2-to-1 on the race bike because that thing is wide open all over the place. And if you're going to live in like wide open land, then high output's going to be kind of where you want to be. It's going to have better flow. It's going to have the characteristics you want. And so for racing, that's what we've run with. Now, if you're going around on the street, I would recommend the Pro Pipe just because I think you're going to have more benefit, more typical benefit out of running something like a Pro Pipe. It'll have the torque a bit lower, power a bit lower, but it's actually where you're going to use it as opposed to the high output 2-to-1. Basically answer my question. Cool. Perfect. Never mind. Go Pro Stock team. Yeah, it's going to be awesome to have Eddie and Andrew back on bikes. We touch on the last couple here. Sound Sample, the new 2-to-1 high output. I mentioned that earlier. It's going to be online at the website or at YouTube. Either way, you can go ahead and check out that video. And then Euro maps available for 2021 Fuelpak. We don't have any maps available for the 2021 Fuelpak except for Sportsters. We have rolled up fitments for the FP3 for the 2021 Sportster model. So if you buy a 2021 Sportster, we have all the maps ready for you. It's all the same. So those are available. If you have a Softail, if you have a touring model, if you have a Milwaukee 8, then we are still working on it. Between Wolves 246 on Instagram says, hey, got an HD Softail FXSTC Custom 07, put a V8 short shots and a big sucker air filter. I have the impression that I'm on 5 or 6 March. The motor is very forced. Is it normal? I'm not too sure what you mean as far as I'm in 5 or 6 March. The motor is very forced. Can you maybe elaborate on that one just so I can kind of be a bit more clear? Carmen Jawad, forward 63, says, any pipes for the 2021 Street Bob in the UK yet? Not yet. Street Bob, well, any motorcycles, any Harleys in the HDI category, i.e. Europe, Central, South America, etc., are all under the new HDI Euro 5 compliancy. And so Euro 5 basically means that you not only have oxygen sensors before the catalytic converter, but you have oxygen sensors after the catalytic converter. So you're looking at basically the level of burn going into the exhaust and how clean it is coming out of the exhaust. And none of our exhausts, our mufflers, etc., have bungs for those secondary oxygen sensors. Now we are working with teams in both the UK and Mexico with their separate HDI motorcycles to go ahead and figure out what we can do to resolve this issue and allow our products to be installed on Euro 5 compliant or Euro 5 compatible vehicles for the HDI market. So stay tuned. We're working on it. I don't have answers yet. IDK 3D win. Will I die if I get the vaccine? I don't know, man. I got dose 2 Monday and I felt like it. Lots of chills, couldn't get warm, up all night, really not fun, but better than COVID. So I don't know, don't die. Do that however you wish. I accidentally changed my name. I heard the vaccine can make someone form into a horse. Not a horse yet, bro. We'll find out. Pro pipe for Dyno or long shots? For me, I talk pro pipe all the time. I would lean that way. I actually removed the long shots on my Super Glide and put on a pro pipe, mostly because A, I like the look better, and B, so I like the look, I like the sound, and the performance is more where I like it, despite the fact the long shots are pretty good. Long shots actually have a hidden collector chamber, so they're like a 2-to-1-to-2 design, kind of like a power dual. Because of that, they actually perform really, really nicely. For me, though, that's not the tone that I kind of like out of my motorcycles, and I'm, a typical Southern California club style bike guy, so I went with a pro pipe. Kind of screw that here. Actually, running 3-inch, huh? Yes, 3-inch slash. or can I get one of those water flasks? We actually will typically hand these out at like motorcycle rallies. We did it a couple of years ago. Um, it is really nice. Part of what they did for COVID is they actually installed these new like LK non-touch um, water dispensers, and the water's phenomenal. So I've been taking full advantage of that, and I will obsessively drink water. It drives my wife crazy, but I'll go through like a gallon and a half, 2 gallons a day. You got exposed on TikTok. I saw what you did. Cool, man. I don't know what you're talking about, but all right. I avoid TikTok like the plague. Weird. Anywho, if anyone has any other questions, go ahead and check them out there. Otherwise, we might end this here early. I go get myself some poke for lunch. All right, accept my request. Dyno. Just in the chat, have a 2021 Road King special. Any update on when the new FP3 will be available for it? Not yet. We are still currently working on it. No ETA, but yeah, there you go. Had the FP3 on my 15 Dyna. Loved the tunability. Thank you, Pac-Man _ chose a few MC. If you guys need any help, go ahead with that. Holsanja, oh buddy, good to see you. I'm glad you liked the map we sent for the 124. Again, I sent you a follow-up email. Was it yesterday? Day before? The 4K RPM range has a little dip in the torque curve. I think the target AFR or the VE tables aren't right at watt for that specific RPM. I think if you polish that up, you'll be in a better place. And then again, turn the speed limiter off so that way you're not stopping your dyno pulls at 109 miles an hour. That's going to give you a skewed dyno chart. So what ends up happening is a little cut for everybody who doesn't know. Dyno charts are usually based on engine RPM. And if you have the limiter on, what happens is you end up stopping your run early because you've hit that speed sooner than you used to hit it when the bike wasn't tuned properly. Long and short is the bike's got more power, it's got more legs, it falls on its face. So you have to disable the speed limiter in order for those to actually perform and rev up to redline as they're supposed to. So yeah, go ahead and make those changes and should be good. Do we have V&H patches for vests? We do not, unfortunately. 16 Heritage on the True Duals. Do you make a 40-inch extension? We don't. There are people who will take our Softail duals and they make custom mufflers for them. So it's pretty popular. Someone will buy our header system and then swap the mufflers out with an aftermarket kit. I don't know who makes it, but I do know that that is an option that is out there. Ben says, can you ship it end part Vance Hines exhaust fitted on a street rod? Yeah, you hit up our team at help@vancehines.com. You can get all your replacement parts, end caps, hardware, baffle packing materials, replacement baffles, quiet baffles, etc. Just hit them up, help@vancehines.com, and they can get stuff for your street rod. Between Wolves Superfix. Oh, okay. You're saying between the 5th and 6th speed, I have the sensation the motor is a little forced. I know the sound changed, but I feel these forced motor on is normal. It depends. It can be. Yeah. So if you are lugging it or if you're low in the RPM range between 5th and 6th, it's not really going to get out of that little torque dip. It won't really try to get out of its way. So it'll feel like it's almost being like held back. Typically, if that is the case, I would recommend going ahead and revving it up a little bit higher. I know a lot of people don't really do it on Harley. A lot of tendencies to kind of just like rev up a little bit, kick it, rev up again, kick it. And so no one really uses like the full RPM limits. I would just ring it a little, be fine. No, you had to replace a tire because of a nail. I'm sorry, that sucked. Last time I had a nail, I pulled off the freeway. And luckily, Harley Towing took care of me. I've since gotten AAA because it's better, cheaper. Vince Siller says, are there any V&H FP3 tuners in Dallas-Fort Worth? We didn't do any of the Fuelpak Pro Tour in Dallas. We did in the Austin and in the Houston areas, but no, there's nobody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area that I'm aware of that has a Fuelpak Pro. I would call shops locally, see if they have it, call a bunch of tuners. We don't force registration of the Fuelpak Pro. In order to use the server, you'd basically have to get a hold of us. We'll register you for the server, and then you can access and upload and store your stuff on the cloud. But we don't require that. It's not mandated. It's not mandatory. You can do whatever you want with it. You can buy it. You can tune a bike. You can ship it out the door. You don't have to use the cloud-based storage. It's just a really nice thing to have. So if they haven't registered with us, they don't have access to the cloud-based storage. I don't know who they are, where they are, etc. So I would just call around and see what you got. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're good, right? We got half an hour. I think everybody's gotten all their questions answered. I've covered everything. So thank you guys for joining me on another Fuel Pack Friday. Everyone have an awesome weekend. Tune in, watch all the good Vance Hines racing action going on this weekend. Again, AFT, NHRA, and King of the Baggers. And no Fuel Pack Friday next week. I'm on vacation. Going to be in Tahoe. Going to hang out in the mountains. Turn off my phone. And I'll see you guys the week thereafter. Thanks, guys.